There's been quite a bit of discussion lately not just in the news media, but in society in general about what we should do about Afghanistan. How many years have American forces been there now? Since 2001, right? That's 16 years. That's longer than the Soviets were in Afghanistan, right? It's longer than the United States has been embroiled in any foreign war. And to think about a strategy about how we can win this is, I think it's unwinnable. And the reason I say it that way is this. You see, why are we there in the first place? When we went in, the idea was that we were going to go and get the people that were responsible for the terror attack or whatever. I don't even know exactly what the reason was. I remember getting caught up in the emotion of it back then. I mean, it was a long time ago. And a lot of people, I think, got sucked into the emotion of it without really thinking about the implications of invading a place that has repelled every invader through history. Now, not initially, of course. I mean, you look at the history of Afghanistan, the Soviet invasion was the most recent one. I believe that happened in, 1979, in which the Soviets invaded because, well, they had asked for help, right? Anyway, a Soviet puppet government was set up, one that was basically a little model of the Soviet Union, and instead of having democracy, they had communism, whatever. It didn't end up lasting, as the United States continued to fund money and weapons and training and whatever to the Mujahideen. I remember this in college in 1987, 88, where the United States was supporting the Mujahideen. In fact, I had a friend, her last name sounded like that, and so we called her Muj. Anyway, long story short, it's kind of a rabbit trail there. The point of all of this is that if you go back before the Soviets, you recall that the Britons had invaded Afghanistan. That's right, the British were there for quite some time, and eventually they were expelled as well. Before that, all the way back to Alexander the Great. I mean, this country in Afghanistan is basically what it's good for is growing poppies. It's good for growing drugs, and maybe that's the entire reason why we're there. Maybe that's why every invading force has gone in, and maybe that's why the people who live there are able to get the invaders out eventually. Now, I know Americans don't like to think of themselves as invaders. And I know that Americans don't like to think about exit strategies. We like to think about winning. There's a movie on Netflix, which I believe was created for Netflix, that stars Brad Pitt. And it's called War Machine. I highly recommend it, by the way. It does have a few, actually quite a few F-bombs in it, but that's not the point. The point of it is that it shows how politicized this whole war thing has become. And men who are trained to go and fight and win wars are now basically being sent over to manage an ongoing conflict. Why are we there? You can take your pick of reasons. Are we giving them democracy? Are we taking away the drugs? Are we fighting terrorism? Right now, we've got Americans and Afghanistans and a whole bunch of other people still dying over a piece of land that is not ours, that we have no claim to. And so my strategy for Afghanistan is this, that we get out. But it's the same strategy that I have for Bosnia. Yeah, that's right. We're still there. We still have troops in Korea, for Pete's sake. Just my 2 cents. Love to engage you on this topic. Send me an email, steve@radiofreespeech.com, or give me a call on the hotline, area code 907-458-0495. We'll talk about it.